Welcome back to Lost Odyssey. So we're still doing the Black Cave.
Also,
I guess the idea is that it's not so much that it's a black cave, it's more so that it's a dark cave. You could have just, if you had called it a dark cave, that would have made thematic sense with the gimmick of the dungeon.
They do mention magical influence, so maybe the idea is like it's a black magic cave, like a cave influenced by black magic.
I guess.
possible.
Alright.
I predict that we will somehow be reminded of another dream in this part. Since they come as common as candy to Kaim. Granted, when you've lived as long as he has, probably have a time.
We.
Imagine if that was somebody's tomb he just rolled. It's alive!
Well, kind of indoors, it's a bit hard to catch a bolt of lightning.
Well, apparently that
I
thing
hear
generates
something.
electricity.
There's something there.
Alright, the dinosaur, enemies.
No way! You can't be serious!
No way. I can't believe
I
it.
can't believe
This is
this!
more like it.
There's only one way out. We have to go through.
I love all the different reactions. The kids in horror, Jansen just the snark, and of course, Seth just can't wait to fight.
Obviously. But, okay, so here's the basic gist of how the boss of this dungeon works. You have all of these green, I guess, eyes, if you can call those things eyes. The green-eyed things, they're just a waste of your time. They're just mooks. There. You're supposed to find the one that has the red eyes. He's the leader. So, that's your proper boss battle.
Oh, so it's, I forgot the name, the rat pack boss from Dark Souls 2.
Basically, yeah.
But yeah, also, Job, I didn't mention this to Pedro in the past, but I forgot that I did to you. So, small fun trivia about the term Firefly. In my country, that's actually used as a synonymous for sex workers. The idea behind that is because, they're working, during the night, you find them on the board from the streets,
I can see the logic,
etc.
Something new every day.
Because of that, Job, the group of the Fireflies in The Last of Us had needed to have their name changed into The Lights, because otherwise it would have had, potential connotations.
What do you mean we're being hunted down by sex workers? What do you mean sex workers and prostitutes are going to save the world from the zombie plague? Which, God, that sounds like that could actually be a legit hentai doujin now.
That being said, the actual term Firefly, despite that, is still used even for, way of saying, like mistaking fireflies for lanterns,
I have to ask then, what's the Italian name of Greo the Fireflies then?
No, it is translated literally. I get the idea it was a case where, Sony Italy was actually fearing it would have caused, people to laugh. And as we know, Neil Druckmann doesn't like the word fun.
I'm curious, like, when it comes to Grave of the Fireflies, did anyone in Italy ever make any jokes regarding that name?
Probably.
Possibly in the mid to late 2000s, but I actually didn't call them up. But I can realistically expect if we were present.
Although to be fair, to be fair, not that I'm trying to defend him, I seriously doubt that.
I was just making a cheap joke, Pedro.
Sure.
Don't be mindful of that.
Sure.
I will say, I do find this music interesting. It goes from sounding heroic and dramatic to being somewhat creepy for a few bars.
Like I said, Noah
essentially.
Matsu is all about the experimental for this specific game alone.
Definitely, like, it says something that, in spite of how experimental he was with One Winged Angel, this might be his most experimental soundtrack I've ever heard.
Jesus.
Scare there.
Alright.
I wonder, can you not run away from these fights?
Hold on. Yep. Unfortunately, you cannot, because this is a it's technically considered part of the boss battle, which boss battles you can't run away from.
And they're called the Rough Eaters.
They look like a combination of chickens, lizards, and...
They're kind of like the steeds that you ride in the Golden Axe games, just without the massive tail.
Alright. It looks a lot. It looks a lot like the rock spell from Quest 64.
It is a big rock after all.
Yes.
Quest 64, a game so bland, and yet I'm still tempted to give it a try just to see.
Oh, that's very easy to.
That game.
Oh, there you go. Cutscene now.
Where are these guys coming from?
They're not a problem to take down, but this is just getting ridiculous.
How long is this going to go on?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
The leader has to be in there somewhere. That's the one we go for.
You know, just like in the Cold Classic games, Cabela Dangerous Hunts 2013.
So yeah. So yeah. That's what I said. So basically, eventually, if you start, there he is. We just found a leader. One of these guys is not like the other. So yes, we just found the leader.
I guess they
interesting
also
visual.
themselves need
You'll
to
notice
be
that the
a-
map. You'll notice that the mini map even shows it as a red dot
Red
instead
spot, yeah.
instead of a green one. So
Come back here.
Hey, come back here.
there we are.
There we go.
You want a piece of me?
Here's the actual boss battle.
Surrounded by blue-eyed.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting.
Rough servants. And I guess he's gonna be called the Rough Leader, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Basically.
Interesting names there.
That's the thing, Jova. Like I've said, like trust me, like Quest 64 is not even fun to hate play. It's just boring. The plot is practically non-existent. It's just.
I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell the only fun thing about it is it's European tile.
Yeah. It's
Magic
what's the-
Century.
yeah.
I heard like the biggest it tries to do is it tries to give like the femme fatale some secret character development about how she's just a puppet, but then it
Yeah.
turns out by the end of the game, despite the bad guy being destroyed, she's alive.
No,
and
they try to do the whole
I guess
thing.
you can
Now I
enjoy
understand.
life.
Now I understand the value of life. Blah 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 blah. And it's just like a bunch of stupid shit pulled at the last minute to try to pretend that the game has meaning. That's all it is, really. As for the gameplay, it's simple. Every single attack that the enemy makes is magic elemental, which means that you can use the magic barrier, which literally protects you from all magic.
Yeah,
That's
I've heard
li-
that
The
pretty
real
much.
buffer is basically the grinding, because grinding for each spell, elemental experience is a pain.
From what I
Yeah.
recall, the meta is basically grind up on the earth and water spells.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of those games that basically demands for you to just use a turbo bot, either turbo bot or just use game shark cheats.
Hey, that's just like what the general said back then.
Very good.
Okay, I wonder if they... Well, I wonder if sometimes the dreams Kaim has not only ties into what he sees, but what's about to happen sometimes in the games. Because I've noticed
Small
that...
ironic echoes, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed that sometimes dreams do have those echoes of what's going on in the plot at the time as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Done with the Black Cave. Now we're on to the city of Saman. Or Saman,
So maybe we should, lock the doors to make sure that those things don't come out and infest the place.
It's gonna be fine, Jova.
Don't worry, Jova. Don't worry, Jova. Fortunately, since there's no world map in the game, nothing that what is in a dungeon stays in the dungeon.
Right, and we totally did not just let an invasive species flood in or out.
Alright, here we are.
Oh, we're at the Academy of Evil, it seems.
Merchant's Town, Saman.
Are you people okay, or are you ghosts?
Pedro?
Oh, sorry, something's not right with this town.
You
Yeah,
don't
that's
say.
It's strange, you've come to think of it. Saman is a merchant town. It should be filled with people from goats from all corners of the world.
This looks like a picture out of an evil storybook.
Hey, what is it with that house? It looks like a
Oh
face.
god, we're in the haunting.
Will you stop that? Now I can't not see it as a face. Thanks a lot.
Go away,
How about
and the
you-
boss. You're not scary.
Terry, you can be this guy.
Hey, are you folks travelers?
No, we're salesmen.
Whoops.
I'm amazed you made it here. Didn't the monsters attack you?
Is there something going on?
Yes. Actually, there is. Go ahead.
I'd say for a while now, starting about a year ago, we've been having all sorts of weird things happen in town.
You don't say with this scenery.
Furniture dancing around, children's toys causing havoc. People are starting to wander around aimlessly like zombies.
And the other-
like they're NPCs in video games. We can't get any help from Gotza either. Oh no, hang on, someone else, sorry.
Yeah, we can't get any help from Gotza either. Whatever it is that's causing all this also sealed out the Ice Canyon public connect us to Gotza.
Well,
You're kidding me. We're in a rush to get to Gotza.
first the cave and now this.
Well, don't look at me. That path is already dangerous. Wandering its way through the cracks and of a glacier. All the entrance is blocked by these huge ice columns.
It's almost like this is a quest or something.
The only way to Gotza now is by sea, but the only ship we have left hasn't been sunk is just a tiny boat. It's not sturdy enough to make it anywhere near Gotza.
Well, shit. Now what? Well, I guess we'll explore the town, see what we can find, I guess. Yeah, there's
Last town.
a lot of weird things has been happening. For example, Carlos Mencia actually told a funny joke.
Oh my god. Are these people okay?
Yeah, this particular house is interesting. All he ever does is talk to that doll now. I'm afraid it might be cursed. I've tried talking to these characters in this house various times at various points. I never was able to trigger anything. You'd think if they bothered to come up with this idea of this guy being obsessed with this girl doll that he has there, you'd think this would be some kind of side quest with a side plot or something, but I
Oh
wasn't...
my god, it's like that house in, I think it's called, in one of the early cities of Pokemon Emerald, that includes the random generated codes that give you the dolls. I hated that shit.
You mean the secret houses?
No, those are in Lake Town. In the town where you get the rock badge, from Roxanne. One of the houses that they added in Pokemon Emerald is a second floor where this girl, wants to have a doll. You need to input a code that I don't even remember what you're supposed to get.
It's a form of torture. Although not as good as the one that I usually like the one from Freakers. Although with Freakers, I usually update the joke for something that's more well known nowadays, which is like, all right, cooperate with me, and nothing bad will happen to your family. But refuse me, and I'll show them this. Freddy got fingered. What kind of sadistic creature are you?
So, this is a pleasant trip we're having. First a spooky cave after a haunted house, and now an absolutely messed up village.
I mean, they have a jukebox at the bar. It cannot be that bad.
I guess
Still,
so.
this is a great field trip you're taking your grandkids on.
Well, our grandkids have gone through rough shit. They're more grown up than your typical kid.
Also, they have cars here, I see.
Yeah, it's
Right,
kind of
like
yeah.
a car.
The setting is kind of steampunkish, kind of.
Some civilizations
Travelers,
are
how are your shoes treating you? Ah, pardon me if I surprised you. I'm a shoemaker, you see, so I always worry about people's feet. There was once a legendary shoemaker, and the stories of his exploits enthralled me so much that I figured I'd become one myself.
Don't tell me this reminds Kaim of that very shoemaker he knew.
Ding ding ding! Very good, Jova. Alright, here we go.
Okay.
Alright, Jova, you can be the shoemaker.
Alright then.
Is this story with the three elves?
The story of Old Man Greo.
Back when this town probably was
Old
happy.
Man Greo was known as the best shoemaker in the country. His shoes were light as a feather and tough as steel. They were also expensive, 3 times higher than anything else on the market. People who did know his reputation were so shocked to hear that he charged at what they would say. The old man must be making shoes for his own amusement. Of course, this was not the case. He had become a craftsman's apprentice at a tender age, and whenever he learned one master's skills would move on to more talented shoemakers. Before he knew it, he found himself making shoes for the grandchildren of his earliest customers.
Time flies when you're having a good time.
Also, good service rarely comes cheap. Greo was such a skilled craftsman. He could make any kind of shoe the customer ordered, and he was at best at, and most enjoyed making, thick-soled traveling shoes. All of his customers agreed. Dibs?
Once you've traveled in old man Greo shoes, you can't wear anybody else's.
Some would say, you know what it's like to wear shoes? You don't get tired the same way. You just want to keep walking, as long as far as you can. You almost hate to get where you're going. Man, these are some kick-ass
shoes for. Yeah, they must be really good shoes.
Is that subplot from Jumanji? The guy that was inventing the shoe that was screwed over by Alan?
True craftsman that he was, though, Old Man Greo rarely talked to his customers, and he could be downright unfriendly. Complimented on his work, he wouldn't so much as smile. Instead, he would put another piece of tanned leather on his wooden shoe last and start hammering away. The only time the old fellow would crack even the slightest smile was when a customer visited his workshop to place an order.
But not just any customer.
I wonder. Not that he was ever thrilled to get an order. What he most enjoyed was when a customer brought him a pair of shoes that had outlived its usefulness. He would stare lovingly at the worn-down soles and the disintegrating uppers, and he would actually talk to them. Joa.
You've done some good traveling, I see.
His regular customers would never dispose of their old shoes themselves because they knew how much he enjoyed this. Neither would they do anything so foolish as to clean the shoes before handing them over to the old man. He wanted them straight from the road, covered with dirt, oil-stained, and stinking of sweat.
He's planning to make a museum of them.
The shoes that felt worn, basically.
These fellows are my stand-ins.
He would say, choosing an honored place for them in his storehouse.
They take my place on the road, you know. They've done their job. I hate to throw them away just because they're no good anymore.
Proud craftsman though he was, Old Man Greo never wore his own shoes. He couldn't have worn them even if he had wanted to. His legs were gone from the knees down. A terrible illness had attacked his bones when he was very young, and the legs had been amputated to save his life. The old man had lived his long life in a wheelchair. He had never once left his native village. This was what he meant when he said that his shoes did his traveling for him.
Oh. If only prosthetics were a thing in that village.
Probably your typical a poor village that can't afford them or something, some shit. Go ahead.
Well, haven't seen you for a while.
Old Man Greo says without looking up at his work as Kaim steps across the threshold. His back is towards the door, but he can tell from the sound of the footsteps when a regular customer has entered his shop.
You crossed the desert.
The sound tells him how worn down the shoes are, and where they have been. Old Man Greo is a craftsman of the first order.
I must be his favorite customer, bringing him several pairs of shoes.
Hi, doggy. It was a terrible trip.
Kaim says with a grim smile, settling on a chair in the corner of the shop. When old Greo in his final stages of shoemaking, almost nothing can make him stop work. All as his regular customers know.
Were my shoes any good on this one?
They were great. I couldn't have done it with anyone else's.
That's good.
The old man doesn't sound the least bit pleased, which is to be expected. Greo is especially curt when he is working. If Kaim wants to see the old man smile, he will have to wait a little until he hands Greo his old shoes during a work break. And yeah, since Kaim is immortal, he wore off a lot more shoes than anybody else.
Here to order new ones.
Yeah?
I said.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you.
Where to this time?
Up north, most likely.
Oceans? Mountains?
Probably walking along the shore.
To fight?
Probably.
Sorry, I can't hear you over the hammer.
Old Man Greo signals his understanding with a quick nod. He says nothing for a while. The only sound in the workshop comes from Greo's wooden mallet. Kaim is moved to hear it.
Like old times.
He has ordered any number of shoes here, even before the old man took over the shop. Literally the oldest customer of the shop. Kaim is one of Old Man Greo's oldest customers. In other words, he is one of the few who have survived repeated journeys. Swinging his mallet and speaking in short snatches, the old man tells Kaim about the deaths of some of his regular customers. Some fell ill and died on the road, others lost their lives in accidents, and not a few were killed in battle.
Be funny if Kaim knows a lot of them too.
That's very possible, considering. Go ahead, Joe.
It's hard.
No, that's actually Kaim. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I think
Oh, no, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
it's hard when only the shoes come back.
Kaim nods in silence.
One young fellow died a few weeks ago. He was wearing the first pair of shoes I ever made for him. The soles were hardly worn at all.
Tell me about him.
You know, you hear it all the time. Leaves his house, leaves for glory.
I'm surprised he could afford shoes from you.
The parents bought them. Sad, isn't it? They gave their boy all this love and care, and he's barely out of childhood when he says he's going to leave home. They finally give up and decide to let him go. They figure they can just give him a pair of my shoes as a going-away present. Less than a month later, he comes back a corpse. I don't know parents nowadays. They spoil their kids rotten. It's so damn stupid.
Greo snarls. Kaim knows that the old man's feelings go deeper than that. Old Man Greo is the kind of craftsman who would rush to make the new shoes the funeral of a sad young man who had breathed his last while his dream was only half finished. He would put them on the young man's feet in the coffin and pray that he would be able to go all the way on his final journey.
A shoemaker who can make shoes for everyone but himself.
Greo falls silent again and wheels his mouth. Yeah, I love the irony there too. Kaim notices how bent and shriveled the old man has become. He has known him a long, long time. Those days will be ending soon enough. Kaim thinks with an ache in his chest.
Actually liked this one.
Old Greo finally reaches a point in his work where he can turn and face his customer.
It's good to have you back, Kaim.
His face is covered with wrinkles. Kaim realizes anew how old he has become.
Wonder what's the record for how long a friend of his has lived. Well, where did you say you were traveling?
Desert.
Right, I think you told me that before.
Kaim shakes his head. The old man seems to lose his powers of concentration when he isn't working, and his memory is shaky sometimes. Little by little, but unmistakably, old Greo is spending more and more time drifting in the space between dream and reality. People grow old and die. The truth of this all too obvious destiny strikes Kaim with special force whenever he completes a long journey.
So when he's working, he's in the zone established in Seoul.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good way of putting it. So you survived this one too, I see.
Kaim looks at him with a strange smile.
Have you forgotten? I can't die.
Oh, I guess I knew that.
I never get old. I look just like I did the first time you met me, don't I?
The old man looks momentarily stunned.
Oh, I guess I knew that too.
He says, nodding uncertainly.
Surely you were a kid then?
But it's me. Sure, you were a kid then. You had just had the sickness and lost your legs and were crying all day long.
That's right. I remember.
You used to call me Big Brother Kaim and play with my old shoes. Do you remember?
Yes, of course.
Greo speaks with certainty now. Either the fog has cleared or the distant memory has come back with special clarity because it comes from so long ago.
For a moment I thought they were going to reveal that this is the same guy who wanted to leave his village from that previous
No,
thing, 'cause
different
they also
names.
called him Big Brother Kaim, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The soles were worn down, there were holes here and there, and they had a sour stink of mud and sweat. To the other people, they must have looked like a plain old pair of shoes, ready for the garbage, but to me, they were a treasure. I remember running my finger through the coat of red dust that covered them and tried to imagine where they had been. I enjoyed them so much. I really enjoyed them.
Kaim's shoes were what got old Greo started as a shoemaker.
It was all thanks to you, Kaim. If I hadn't met you, I would have spent my life cursing my fate. Instead, I've been happy. I'm happy now even if I can't leave this workshop. My sons can travel for me. I've had a happy life.
He pauses.
Oh, now, will you listen to me talking up a storm?
Greo says with an embarrassed smile.
All right, now, give me my sons.
He says, and Kaim hands him the worn-out old shoes he has brought with him. The old man strokes them fondly and says with a sigh,
You've been through many a battle.
Was a mercenary too for a time.
I know that.
says Greo.
I can smell the blood. All the shoes that travel with you are like this.
Are you angry?
Not at all. I'm just glad you came back from this latest trip in one piece. And there was this one general that got turned into leaves, of all things.
I'll be leaving again as soon as you make me new ones.
Another one of those trips to war.
Uh-huh.
And when that journey ends, you'll leave on another one.
Probably.
How long can you keep it up?
Kaim's only answer is a grim smile. Forever.
Forever.
That is not a word to speak lightly in the presence of someone who has lived what little time he has to the fullest.
Oh, well, never mind.
The old man says, turning his back on Kaim to continue his work.
Wait 3 days, you can leave the morning of the 4th day.
That will be fine.
When will we meet next after that?
2 years maybe? 3? Could be a little longer.
Really? Well then, this could be the last pair of shoes I ever make for you.
Kaim believes it will be. The old man is not likely to last 3 more years. Kaim fervently wishes it were not so, but wishing it by itself can do nothing. Only those who possess eternal life know that this is precisely why the time of a person lives is so irreplaceably precious.
You ever imagine that in between his visits, he's doing other visits to other people he does during these stories?
Most likely.
Yep.
Say, Kaim,
What's that?
mind if I make a second pair of shoes out of the same piece of leather to match your new ones?
They will be for himself, he explains, to be placed in his coffin for his life's final journey,
I'd like that.
answers Kaim. The old man swings at his mallet instead of thanking him. The sound is far sadder and lonelier than usual.
Literally making his own funeral shoes. Come to think of it, though, Kaim, be sure to come back to this town even after I'm dead. Offer up your old shoes at my grave.
I will.
I'd like to say I'll be going to heaven a step ahead of you and waiting for you there, but in your case it doesn't work.
No, unfortunately.
What's it like, an endless journey? Happy? Unhappy?
Probably unhappy.
Kaim replies, but his voice is drowned out by the rising sound of Greo's mallet until it is lost, even to his own ears. Old man Greo reached the end of his full span of years soon after Kaim's visit to his shop. Because Greo had no family, his grave in the cemetery at the edge of town was cared for by his many sons. In accordance with his wishes, his regular customers offered up their old shoes at his grave. Kaim's shoes were among them.
Aww.
The words inscribed on his gravestone were chosen by Greo himself. He explained his choice to Kaim this way. Jova?
I would say the words to each new pair of shoes before I handed them to the customer. I always said them to the customer, too. I never once had the experience, though, of hearing someone say the words to me. That's why I want them on my gravestone. These are the words I want to be seen off with on my journey to heaven.
And where are those words, I wonder?
Why?
Well, that's only one word, so...
Yeah, you see how many.
Several decades flow by. Not only old man Greo, but all the customers who knew him have long since departed the world. The only one who still comes to pay his respects is Kaim. He no longer wears shoes that were crafted by the old man. Like the life of man, the life of a pair of shoes cannot be eternal. Still, Kaim comes to the town at the beginning of every journey, touching his forehead to the ground at the old man's grave. The gravestone is covered with moss, but the words engraved on it, strangely enough, are still clearly legible. Jova.
May your journey be a good one.
These were the words the old man always spoke. Coming from his mouth, they could be brusque, but they were always charged with feeling. And Kaim came in to tell the words to him. There you go, of course.
Well, if that guy we spoke to is anything to go by, his legacy still lives on.
Yeah, right here. So he has this potential successor here, so that's nice to know. All right, and that is it, everybody. With this dream, we're now going into. We're almost done with disc 2. In fact, we have one more dream before the final boss of disc 2. Specifically, the next part of Seth's dream.
So going strictly off of discs, we're almost halfway there.
Yeah, we're almost halfway through the game. Yes. All right. See you for the next part, everybody.
Yeah.
See ya.